Three, two, one, action.
What up, guys? Welcome back to Off the Record, where we talk about whatever we want. And today's segment is Ask an Expert. And we have Kevin, the real estate agent, here. I have one question. I wrote it down because it's kind of complicated.
Okay.
But I always hear the concept of people buying a house.
Yeah.
It goes up in value.
Yeah.
And then now there's this thing called equity, right?
Yeah.
And then with equity, they're able to either buy a new home or remodel their home.
Correct.
So in essence, it's like a loan to yourself, right? Kind of.
You will end up getting a loan.
Because it's not free money. So how does all of that work?
So in essence, what happens is when you start to build equity, there's a couple ways you can build equity. Home prices go up, you can build equity from the time you purchase the property to whatever the current market rate is.
Yeah.
The other way you can build equity is, every month that you're paying towards your mortgage payment, it's bringing the principal down, right? So then you build equity that way as well too. But what you were talking about, can you pull money out to, let's say, go purchase another property or remodel? Basically, you would go back to the bank, right? Because you say, okay, I bought the house for $1 million. It's now worth 1.2. Can I take this extra 200,000 and I want to do some improvements to it? You are actually technically, I probably talk to a loan officer. They're probably more expert on this. But whenever you're pulling money out, it's supposed to go back into the property, right? You're not supposed to pull the money out and go buy a car, right?
Oh.
People do that, but you're not supposed to, because remember, the bank is giving you money based off of the house itself.
I see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can pull the money out, and I mean, when it's
when you say pull the money out,
yeah,
is that in the form of another loan, or like
it will be in a form of.
So you get another loan. Is that when you refinance?
You refinance. Well, there's a couple different ways with refinance. Refinance is, let's say your balance is $500,000. You can refinance just the $500,000 at whatever the interest rate is at that time. So if it's, typically you only want to refinance if it's lower, which is why a lot of people are doing that to save money.
Like right now, right? With the low interest rates.
With the low interest rates, that's what everybody's doing, just to save money.
Just did it. It's beautiful.
How much did you save?
2.5%.
But mortgage payment wise, how much did you?
Oh my God, it's like 1,000.
There you go.
Wow!
Right? Think about it. That's 12,000.
For the same house, isn't that
that's
crazy?
12,000 within 1 year that you could save that could go towards something else.
Dude, I started saving $3,000 a month because I switched, not to Geico,
to garage.
to garage.
That just popped in all of our heads, though.
I know.
That's how good advertising is.
Yeah, but we switched. I switched from I had a home to myself that I was renting. It was like 4,000, but if you add like everything else that goes with it, utilities, fucking lawn guy, whatever, right? It was way over 4,000. But now I live in my buddy's garage for $1,200,
Not
utilities
ADU?
included.
The dream.
It is an ADU, but I prefer garage because it sounds French to me. More fancier. Garage. Yeah, and it's I'm like, man, I get pretty much 3,000 plus a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is the best. And I get to buy all these toys and fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. But if I could refi and do that too if I owned a house, that's even better.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't somebody buy a house?
Well, that's where I look at it. A lot of people are always like, Kevin, when's the market going to crash? I don't think anybody can really predict when it's going to happen. Is it inevitable?
That sounds like a Chinese person saying. Hey, Kevin, I want to buy a house. When's it going to crash, man?
All the time. And I'm like, sometime it will happen, right? But who knows? But especially in LA, right? I can't speak for other states or other cities. LA typically will maintain its value pretty well just because we are a international destination point, right? So will our prices decrease in half in value? I think that's very highly unlikely, right? But if you talk about what's more important, right? Like either the price tag that you look at or the monthly payment that you pay, right? A lot of people, it's really the monthly payment that you pay.
So that affects your day to day.
Because exactly. Because that's what you have to fork out. It's irrelevant almost to a point with the actual price in itself. And because interest rates have come so low, it has made everything much more affordable. Now, will interest rates stay at this rate? I doubt it, right? I mean, we're at 2.5, 2.75. That's
free money, dude.
Free money.
Yeah.
Literally free money, right? I mean, if inflation happens, the banks are losing money,
yeah,
right, on these loans. So I always say if you really calculate everything, like if prices come down, interest rates are probably going to go up. I can't predict when that or what that interest rate is actually going to be, but it's probably going to be a lot higher than what we're paying now. Like when I first started in the business in 2005, 5.75% was the interest rate.
And was that considered good at the
That
time?
was like extremely low because if you go back into the 80s, they're in the teens, right? 13, 14, 15%, maybe even some 18, 19%. Was the interest rate. So looking at 5.75, that was like unheard of.
But they could afford it back then because maybe the house was like 100 grand.
Correct.
I see.
Yeah, but now as like the rates keep going lower and lower, if you really look at how much you're going to pay to the bank over a 30-year period, it's like a fraction of what it would be even if the interest rates went up 1%. Right? So I always look at it from that point of view because people are always like, well, prices are getting too high. Well, then it looks, what is your objective with the house, right? If you're going to stay there for 2 years, then I would probably say, yeah, don't do it because you're most likely going to lose out on, equity in the house, right? It's typically going to take you anywhere between 5 to 7 years to hit like a break-even point for most people, right? You can time a market really good sometimes, but just going back off of historical averages, right? But right now, if you look at just the rates and how much you would save over a 30-year period, it's nuts.
So you would tell your mom to buy right now?
I would.
Nice.
Yeah. I'd be like, buy 2.
Really? Hell yeah. Free money out there. I love
Free
it.
money. Yeah.
I would buy a bunch if I could.
Yeah.
Because like in Vegas, like they're also way more affordable.
Yeah.
So I think for me, my plan is once I secure my mortgage, because that one is a little bit higher, I don't want to like affect my credit score because it'll affect the rates.
Yeah.
But once I secure that one, then I'll be a lot more aggressive in looking for the next home.
Correct. I mean, like in Vegas, it makes sense when you like pencil things out. Over here, it's a little bit more difficult. I think it's always a trade, right? Especially with the investment properties. Are you looking more for cash flow? Or are you looking for appreciation over time? Over here in California and LA, I mean, appreciation is what makes it. We get no cash flow off of majority of the properties that you buy. Over there, you might get both, right? Because even when we were looking at those smaller houses out there, I asked Tina to run the numbers. I'm like, how much could you get for rent? I mean, even by putting 20% down, you can cover it over there. Over here, 20% down, you're out of pocket like every month.
Do you trust Bart because he told you that he was going to be in his forever home and then now you're still working with him? Do you find him reliable?
So
He already bought 2 houses in his
Is that a reliable customer?
life.
Are you like, this guy's
changes,
such a
right?
fucking chump?
Life always changes. Things happen, right? So, yeah, I trust.
Like when you're walking away from Bart after giving the keys, are you like, I'll be seeing this asshole again?
After Vegas, it's like, hey,
Come back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there was a possibility that they were probably going to move one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, life changes because even the first house, the Monterey Park house, our plan was to stay there maybe like 5 or 6 years before we buy the forever home. And the minute we had Taika, family starts coming over, what we thought was like the perfect space, it was just jam-packed like
Correct.
all the time. And I'm like,
Correct.
oh shit, this is crazy. So we needed a bigger space for family to come over, and then we ended up getting this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how life is, right? We plan it one way and it goes another way. Same thing with business.
I just don't call anything forever if I don't mean it. That's just my personal thing.
You're a realist thing.
I just don't do
Steve
that.
would have been a way better customer.
Yeah, I think so. And we'll talk.
All right.
So when you pull the money out for equity, that's in the form, is it now, do you have 2 loans or it's just another loan but you have cash on hand?
So there's a couple of different ways that you could do it. They call it cash out refi, right? So maybe you can lump it all up where you have a portion and then you just take out specific amount for cash. You can even do it in a form of what we call line of credit, right? So if you have enough equity, you don't have to go through the full process. They'll just look, okay, your house, you bought it for like $500,000, it's worth $1 million now, and your loan is only $200,000. We'll give you another $100,000 on top, right?
So what does it look like in real life? Is it like, let's say my house is $1 million, right? And then it went up to 1.2, like you said. So if I want to pull out the 200, do they deposit the 200 into like another bank account, and then now my mortgage is no longer on the $1 million, it's on the 1.2? Is that what it looks like?
You would basically pay off that original loan, and then you would get that new loan with that extra money on it. So it still becomes one loan, but it's a brand new loan.
I see.
And then the cash you can take out, right? But your payments also could
Go
change
up,
too.
yeah.
Well, depending on how the interest rate changes, right?
You could use the cash for anything.
You technically can. You technically.
Don't tell this guy that.
I'll use it on crypto.
This episode of Off the Record is brought to you by Upstart. So when I was going into college, like this is one of the things I have on my credit score, was back then I would see all these like 0% APR credit cards, right? And I'm like, cool, I hear when you need to build your credit, you should have like multiple credit cards open. So I got like 2 or 3 of them. The thing is with those 0% APRs, after a certain time, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year, they all jump back to the immediate rate. And so I forgot and I bought a couple of things and they all jumped up to like 20%. And when it gets to 20% and it's compounding, the money can grow really, really fast. One of them ended up going to collections because I wasn't really working that much during college.
Shoot, you were paying your debts?
I wasn't. So like this would have been really helpful because I could have consolidated all of that credit card debt into one and then just pay one payment. And when you're in college or you have all these classes you're worried about, it's your brain scattered all over the place. So when you have too many things to focus on, it's really, really hard. So I'm really glad that Upstart exists because it can help all the people now. And it's a fast and easy way to get a personal loan to pay off your debt all online.
And whether it's paying off your credit cards like Bart over here, or you just want to consolidate some high interest debt like me, or funding just personal expenses or whatever it is, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. Upstart finds smarter rates with trusted partners because they assess more than just your credit score. I think this is the main thing that's super important. So with a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans from $1,000 to get this $50,000, baby.
That's a lot.
You can get approved the same day and receive funds as fast as 1 business day. If debt is taking over your life, it's time to get a fresh start with Upstart.
So find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/offtherecord. That's upstart.com/offtherecord. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/offtherecord.
Crypto's hot right now, dude.
Sure
I don't
is.
know. Everyone's like, you should get real estate. And I'm like, it's too slow. It's too for sure.
It doesn't go 30% a day.
Yeah, I want the swings, man.
Yeah, I
I
live
want
for-
to like win 100 grand and then the next second lose 200.
It feels good.
Yeah, doesn't it? And then you're just waiting for a week, watching it obsessively. I'm like, I hope it goes back up, and it goes back up, and you're like, cool. I forgot about the pain.
I've been looking at, I think, crypto for like 60 to 90 days straight now.
Every single day,
Every day,
every
yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Dude, I love our text chains about it. This shit's amazing.
But what's the cause for it to go like up and down? Like it's just all speculation.
It's all speculation, man.
But like, why would one day go up like it was at 40 and then it drops to like 35?
It's informed speculation. Sometimes you hear things, or like there's some bullshit article that comes out in Cointelegraph and they lie about Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin drops and then it goes right back up the next day.
It's hella volatile, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I see it.
I have a friend that says a lot of it's actually really orchestrated. So he's like, if you watch the players in the game, it's like this giant theater so you'll have like an article that comes out, right? People go, oh no, so they dump, right? They dump all the Bitcoin back out. And then you see giant institutions come in. It's almost like perfect timing. And then so it's like, did these institutions tell these guys to write this so that the regular people can let it? So there's a lot of it's very orchestrated.
But do the institutions sell it afterwards?
No, they're holding on.
They're holding on.
Everyone that's bought is holding on right now.
That's why it's still like in the 30,000s right
Yeah.
Which I predicted, but that's fine.
So since you've been in real estate for how long now? Over
15 years. April is gonna be my 16th.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So in 16 years, and you learned so much along the way, is there anything that you would say, oh man, I wish someone would have told me this sooner or learned about this sooner about real estate?
Like actually being an agent?
Just anything, or even
Or
just about the
anything?
industry.
Like
Like for me, I wish someone would have told me when your kid, like your first home should be a beater home. Because
Your kid's gonna beat it up.
yeah, when your kid is like between like 2 and 4, he's gonna fuck shit up.
There's like crayon.
Yeah, like all the markings in our current house right now,
Yeah.
they're all at like the 2-foot range. There's fucking soccer ball marks. There's like his tricycle slamming into the
Yeah.
wall. Like I wish someone would have told me that. Then I would be like, okay, cool. Like my first home, I'll just live in for the next 5 years. Because then the kid's gonna beat it up. Like, is there any like?
It's a beater.
I think in terms of investing, the sooner you can get in, the better it's always going to be, right?
The sooner?
Yeah. I think we live, especially in the world that we live in today, like we're all about this, what can we buy, where can we go type of thing. And I mean, they're cool and all, but like building wealth, the easiest way is, I feel, through real estate. It's the most conservative way to get.
So is there a difference between an investment property and owning your own home? Because one can be an asset and one can
Be a liability.
depending on your situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The investment isn't meant for everybody, right? Because there are responsibilities that come with it. There is also risks that come with it. So, some people are very risk averse. So I probably wouldn't say do that. But for the majority of people, I mean, we all need a roof over our head, right? So to be able to fixate your cost at a certain point, I think is always a good thing, right? Because if not, I mean, if inflation hits, which I predict, right, just how you think, crypto may go up to what was it, 200,000?
Bitcoin 200,000 each. I think they're printing way too much fucking money right now, and I
Yeah.
think people are going.
Right,
I
so
don't know about
inflation
that.
hits, rent's gonna skyrocket, right? I think we've been okay with the way rents have been, but depending on where you live in the country as well too. I mean, California's just always been super expensive, but if you can fixate your cost, I think that's
For like
always
30 years
Yeah,
or
for
whatever.
30 years. I mean, you don't have to move. We always want to move. We want to upgrade. I think that's how life works, right? But we don't have to. I mean, we can probably work within our means as well too. But at least you have that going for you, as opposed to, hey, you can move from one location to another location. Some people are nomadic, so it's really depending on your lifestyle too.
I've always wanted an expert in here so I could ask them a couple of very stupid things as well.
Yeah,
Has anyone ever paid for a house in cash?
like physical
Like
cash.
with a fucking briefcase of cash?
suitcase.
you wouldn't be able to do that. Now there's even they'll
that.
track if you pay cash. I haven't had that experience. I've heard way back in the days, here in Monterey Park, people were like, here's the briefcase.
Chinese restaurant cash.
Probably, yeah.
The soy sauce
but
things on it?
now everything's got to go through a wire transfer into escrow. So
So you don't hear that sound anymore?
no.
The Attache case?
Yeah. I got another question too then.
Yeah.
Which race is the hardest to work with? I'm just kidding.
I get in trouble for that.
Or religion.
I think
Religion.
everybody is, their own special way.
Oh,
and
so
I gotta
safe.
learn how
So
to adapt
safe.
to that.
Dude, what's crazy is back then drug dealers and all these like tax evaders would be able to buy it full on cash. And I'm like, how did they even get that through? It's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because when I hear cash payments, obviously they're wired. But that means people actually have that kind of money in their bank account.
Correct.
With all those zeros. And they're like, yeah.
But I mean, there's still like fraud schemes out there, with people, swindling money and still purchasing properties and stuff like that. They do have like protocols, like these cash deals over a certain amount. They'll do background checks even after it closes, right? They report it, and then they'll be like, well, let's investigate this one.
Like where it came from.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not a loan officer, but do you ever see like your clients' financials to make sure that during the whole process, or is it just the loan guys that see it?
I usually separate it, right? Because as long as I work with the trusted advisor on the loan side, I mean, because there's guys where I can be like, hey, just write me this, and they'll be like, sure, but at the same time, I'm wasting my time if it doesn't go through, right? Time is valuable for everybody. We can only do so much within a 24-hour period. I don't get any more hours than you guys do, right? So I just trust that individual to do their job.
I see.
Right, so I don't need to see any of the financials. I don't need to see how much you make or how much money. I mean, how much money you have to put down. I do, because we do submit that with the offer. But in terms of like your tax returns and stuff like that, I don't.
That's all the loan people.
Do you ever go into a house and you're like, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna get this one myself.
Yesterday, to be honest. Yeah, dude. Like
Here we go.
It was literally one of those things where I was like, it's a 3-unit in Alhambra, and I showed it to one of my clients.
Remember, Google that 3-unit Alhambra. We can beat him. We can snake him.
The price point is already like really high, but the person that bought the property, redid the whole thing, and it looks like amazing. And I had a couple of the guys on my team like run the numbers. I'm like, what do you guys like? Okay, what they're publishing, is this really true? Because I was like, okay, if I could save some money, then maybe I could just go sacrifice for a few years and just go buy something sicker. And the numbers really just like pan out. Right,
You'll be in the green as soon as you buy it. Is that what you mean?
Well, so I think what happened. There's this pretty cool top floor unit, and then they have 2 downstairs units. So the top floor is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was like 1,400 square feet. The bottom there's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and then there's also a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Because it was so well done, like you're gonna get premium rents on it. So for me to just I could either go buy a house and put all my money down on a new house, or can I buy this one? And really, like the rent that I would collect on the 2 units downstairs, all I would really probably have to pay for is just the property tax.
Wow.
Which is
Beautiful.
So
which is like
you live in the other unit?
yeah,
third unit?
the 3rd unit. So that'd be like I want to say it was I calculated it was like $1,600, which is way cheaper than what I'm paying right now. So all that money that I could save, then I can maybe build something to
In
buy
Vegas.
something. Yeah.
So that's like the house hacking, right? Where people buy multi-units, they live in one, and then they...
Yeah, and if I were to decide to leave, based off of even just the numbers on 20% now, like it cash flows, which is very rare around here. But that's based off of whatever the property is priced at. Will it go over it? I think it could, but with financing being cheap, I was just calculating even for every like 100,000 you go up, it was like $490 a month.
Wow.
Right?
So
Which isn't changing a whole lot.
Is your client like, hey, 3-bedroom Alhambra, how's that going, man?
It's probably gonna be, I mean, they're gonna play cash, and I would probably have to finance it.
You're gonna compete with them though, right?
I don't know. We'll see.
You're like, hey, dude, guess what, dude? That thing, nah, you don't want it, dude. I heard termites in the walls or some shit. Doorknobs are horrible.
How do you break that to them? You let them know like, hey, if you don't get it, I'm gonna get it, type of thing, or like.
Yeah, I'd probably definitely tell them.
You're like, the numbers are good for me right now,
Yeah.
really good.
I mean, either way, it's a win, right? So, but you can always find deals.
Yeah.
It's just how patient you are. It doesn't happen overnight.
But you're gonna tell them that you're cutting them in line.
No, I haven't decided if I was actually going to do it, but I looked at everything and I'm like, this actually seems
numbers are too good.
pretty
So
promising.
what would be the reason for someone to want a multi-unit? It's an investment property, right? It's
Yeah.
rarely an individual that wants to buy it for their own place.
Yeah, I think just securitizing like later on down the future, especially with cash flow, right? I think your payments are going to be fixed for a certain period of time. Your rents typically are going to go up over time, so you'll be able to cash flow, and then you can build that equity, which is what we were talking about. And then those people tend to pull the money out and then go buy something else,
I see.
right? So then you can start to build your wealth that way as well.
And then the people that redid this place, they were just looking to like fix it up and sell it. Like they don't want the responsibility of renting it out.
No, I think according to the agent, what she told me, they were going to do it, but they decided they were
Too much going on.
because I mean they redid the whole thing, which is like it's really nice, right? I think it took them over like a year and a half to fix. They're still gonna make money off of the deal,
The sale.
yeah. But the numbers still work.
Can you tell when somebody's not gonna be a serious person? Like you get all kinds of people, I bet, being like, I just want to check out houses. I'm not serious.
Yeah, so I think qualifying in the beginning is probably going to be the most critical part.
Like getting
Right.
pre-approved.
Getting pre-approved. If they don't want to get pre-approved, if they're fighting me on that, then I know they're probably not going to be that serious. Especially in today's marketplace with everything going so quickly. It's like if you want to keep looking, I mean, you can look forever. I mean, I've literally seen people look for like a few years. It's like, oh, the market's going to change. The market's going to, yeah, it's changing one way that you... It's
going up,
yeah,
bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you always have to just be ready. And I don't think there's a definite period of when you're going to be ready, right? And I don't think you can ever time anything perfectly as well, too. So just stick it long term. Real estate's always going to be the same.
Do you break it to them though? You're like, you're not fucking serious about this.
Yeah, you grab them by the fucking.
Yeah, I'm not wasting my time.
In the beginning, I probably could not figure that part out. I think now when I talk to the client up front in that first meeting, I know whether I can do it or not or how long it's going to take.
What about me? So you know when we're looking for a house,
Yeah.
we were looking for like 2 years.
This guy bugs you. How much does he bug you?
Well, so the first one was easy.
And then, yeah, the first one was so easy.
But that-
I didn't look at any other house.
Yeah.
We looked at like getting this one.
Is that right?
And then I'm like, damn, I think I gave Kevin free money right now.
Yeah, the first one was relatively easy, right?
It was really easy.
Yeah, the second one, it happens very often with people in that situation where you already have a house,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to. There's no like life urgency thing for you to have to do it.
We looked
So-
for like 2 years straight, almost every weekend, almost every other weekend, like 3 or 4 homes.
But I mean,
I know you did. I believe you. And I believe that you bugged the shit out of this poor guy.
so for those,
He didn't even say anything. He's like, oh my God.
He's like, thank God he's moving to Nevada.
but that's a rare case, right? That's a rare case.
Dude, how many hypotheticals did you have to answer every day from Bart? What if in this case?
Yeah.
It's rare to have someone look at a house for 2 years.
Look how ready he is, dude. We fucking got him.
You guys got me. Is it rare? I mean, I probably had a few that did it that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where there's like really no urgency.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.